2024 U.S. Open champion, Bryson DeChambeau!
Gosh, I'm trying to hold it in right now. The support's been overwhelming.
Tickets for Nashville this week are nearly sold out. We are calling this the Bryson effect.
I mean, with how much support we have out here, and it's just the start, that's a testament to what Live Golf is and what the Crushers are doing, what our team's doing, and what we're trying to do for Nashville and places all across the globe. So super excited for the future of Live.
It was nice to at least walk down the last few holes, or at least the last hole, knowing that it was pretty much done. It's never safe, but very proud of everybody, and of course Tiro. I mean, what a week to get his first win in a few years and win by 6 in an absolutely dominant performance the way he did. It was absolutely incredible, so I couldn't be happier for him.
Certainly with not winning for 3.5 years, you kind of naturally question if you can do it again. So I'm just proud of myself to be able to get through that and play the way I did.
Hello and welcome to a Thursday Live right here on the early line on SportsGrid and all across the SportsGrid network. That includes sportsgrid.com/watch, where you can find your favorite destination and consume everything all across the grid. He is Donnie Rightside. I am Ben Stevens. We are here together for the next 3 hours up until 11 a.m. Eastern time. Now, it might be the summer, but there's so many different sporting events happening at this current moment that it feels like it might be one of the busiest times of the year. Another soccer semifinal Wednesday in this summer of soccer. A nightcap and a raucous environment in Charlotte in the Copa America semifinal between Uruguay and Colombia. And is it finally coming home for the first time since 1966? We will show you what happened yesterday between England and the Netherlands in the Euros as well. Big news for the United States men's national team ahead of when we host the World Cup 2 summers from now. Speaking of the U.S., the men's national basketball team starting its showcase last night in Las Vegas. And Donnie, that doesn't even have to do with what we are seeing on a daily basis in Major League Baseball ahead of the All-Star break or Big 12 Media Days continuing yesterday in Sin City as well.
Which includes the Phillies putting it down over those Los Angeles Dodgers. Bryce Harper, no Bryce Harper, it doesn't matter. And yes, there are a lot of hot topics, including maybe a little Charlotte malice in the palace after that soccer game as well. But as you pointed out, big news from U.S. Soccer. It's about time. There's no reason to have 350 million people in this country, and we stink every year in soccer. Continue to fire the coaches until we get it right. So I appreciate the United States Soccer Association today making the changes. Let's go move forward. Get a good coach. For once, just get a good coach.
Potentially the most crucial hire the United States Soccer Federation has ever been tasked with making. We'll talk about it in just a moment. First to the actual action on the pitch yesterday, Wednesday afternoon in Dortmund between the Netherlands and England for a spot in the Euro final against Spain. It was the Netherlands scoring first. Xavi Simons in the 7th minute responded by a penalty for the English in the 18th minute. Harry Kane buries it in the back of the net. And then no scoring, and the offense kind of slowed over the next end of the opening half and into the second before in the 91st minute, Ollie Watkins delivers for the English. They are back into the European final for the second time in as many tournaments. Donnie looking for their first major international tournament title since 1966. England prevails past the Dutch 2-1 the final yesterday in the Euro semifinal.
Could be a grand party there in old UK. Now, having said that here, I watched the game yesterday, and sometimes it comes down to questionable calls and when you get them inside the penalty box. And certainly Harry Kane got the benefit of a questionable call. You saw the Netherlands coaches after the game completely angry about that, saying it changed the game itself, which apparently it did. But also, it's 1-1. You can't cry over spilled milk at that point. You had plenty of time to score your own goal. Couldn't do that. England was able to come up clutch in the end. They move forward. And quite frankly, I'm happy to see it because that'll be an exciting final over there in the Euros.
Yes, it certainly will. It's Spain. It's England on Sunday. The Spanish Open is a -138 favorite to win the European Championship. Again, England in the hunt for its first major international tournament crown since 1966. Copa America semifinal on a Wednesday. We'll talk about what happened after the match, but the actual match itself, Colombia victorious over Uruguay, 1-0, a goal in the 38th minute from Jefferson Lerma off a set piece, a corner off the left foot of James Rodriguez. Colombia played a man down for the entirety of the second half and still held on against Uruguay to punch its ticket into the Copa America tournament title match against Argentina and Messi on Sunday night in Miami. But then, DRS, after the game, this was the scene in Charlotte. Uruguayan players into the stands, fighting, literally fighting and throwing blows against Colombian fans who apparently were trying to harm Uruguayan family members of the national team. An ugly, ugly scene in Charlotte last night after an incredible atmosphere for an incredibly close game.
Yeah, and also for Uruguay out there, I should start calling them Uruguay now because of how disrespectful their game was yesterday. Come on. Now, how are you up a man, or should I say the other team is down a man, and you can't score a single goal? That's an embarrassing effort. Multiple chances. They never could get shots on goal. That was a terrible performance overall, but it does set up an epic final in Miami against Argentina this weekend. That's going to be a heck of a crowd and a passionate crowd nonetheless. But we've seen this in soccer before. The crowds get passionate typically. We usually don't see the players go into the stands to handle their business, but that's the way it is in a fiery atmosphere. And by the way, it looked like it was all yellow jerseys around that entire stadium yesterday in Charlotte. That was a passionate crowd for sure.
Not sure where the security was at that moment after the game. There was some words exchanged between the Uruguayan national team and the Colombian national team on the pitch. An unfortunate scene, but the scene on Sunday in Miami, Messi and Argentina and the entire nation of Colombia, that is going to be a wonderful Copa American tournament. I mean, come on. No, Miami is the right scene for it. We got to fly around. The U.S. men's national team making the call yesterday, the dismissal of Greg Berhalter after the disaster at Copa America and the U.S. failing to get out of group stage on home soil. Greg Berhalter is out. Who the next skipper is going to be is incredibly crucial. 2 summers away from when we host the World Cup here in North America.
I've seen a lot of bad coaches in my life throughout sports. He might be the single worst. I don't think any single person ever said a kind thing about his coaching. Rightfully so, moving on. We got to get a direction here in the U.S. We got to start showing up on the national stages here, which we haven't been doing. Love the move. Find a good coach.
It is time to bring Jurgen Klopp home. That is the move for the United States men's national team. The U.S. men's basketball team that will represent this country at the Paris Olympic Games starting their summer showcase. A 5-game set of exhibition matches yesterday against our rivals from the Great White North in Las Vegas, that being Canada. And Team USA, down by 7 after the opening quarter, took a little bit of time to gel all together, but they end up winning by 14, 86-72 over the Canadians. An 11.5-point spread in favor of the Americans. That was the number on the FanDuel Sportsbook, well under 200 and a hook. LeBron James, Steph Curry, Anthony Edwards starting to look in the groove last night.
Yeah, they played very good defense, and if there's any indicator where the U.S. isn't really meshing on offense just yet but can lock you up on defense, and Canada also, maybe the second-best team overall in this tournament, that's a good showing from Team USA. They're going to gel, and they're going to dominate.
Anthony Edwards, that number one option, the U.S.'s leading scorer last night with 13 points. Derek White officially, by the way, replacing Kawhi Leonard on that USA roster. Plenty of games around the WNBA on camp day, a 5-game slate. Caitlin Clark, historic again. Angel Reese adds to her double-double record. A'ja Wilson, 24 points and 20 boards. Plenty more coming later. The NBA agreeing to its new media deal, an 11-year deal worth $76 billion, but TNT still has the opportunity to match one of the networks, ESPN, NBC, or maybe Amazon. Could we see TNT match?
Yeah, I don't know where the money is coming from or who's paying it from these certain places, but at the same time, get ready for, where's the Sixers game at? Where's the Knicks game at? Oh, it's on Netflix at this point now, so we're headed there. Yeah. Get ready, NBA fans.
We are, but we are going to see more nationally televised game each and every night of the week following football around the association. Kyle Schwarber in his second game back, a leadoff Schwar bomb to pace the Phillies yesterday. They beat the Dodgers 4-3 for a second consecutive night.
Fastest to 60 in franchise history before the All-Star break. The Philadelphia Phillies showing Major League Baseball. They're ready to do some damage in Red October.
60-32, the best record in all of MLB. Yesterday, on a quiet day at Wimbledon, as Novak Djokovic had a walkover into the semifinal, Taylor Fritz goes down in 5 sets. The American ousted yesterday at Wimbledon. Plenty more on the early line next.
It is Canada. You know, Canada is one of those teams that's the darling of the tournament right now. They're still 9-1.
To win a tournament, or even to advance far into a tournament like this, you need a bit of good fortune. And it doesn't matter if you're getting the good fortune that Canada has, where they played 2 matches where they were up a man, or you had the good fortune of Argentina, who's one of the best teams in the world, who just got on the good side of the draw.
Newswire, only on SportsGrid.
I want to know, too, what was the highest you ever got on both of those metrics?
So the highest club head speed I've ever gotten with a 45-inch driver, we'll just say stock, was, I think it was 129.9. I never cracked 130. Never cracked 130. That was juice. That was on caffeine. I can't even talk. And then I got 195 ball speed.
195 ball speed.
Only on SportsGrid. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid, your 24/7 sports wagering network. The early line.
Magical and historic season in Lincoln, Nebraska continues.
He is the best player in the NBA, but also in the biggest moments where the national media is watching.
Newswire.
Something that we have never seen happen before with one of the iconic coaches in the game.
Pharrell, coast to coast.
The team covers. It's automatic. It's every time. Not sometimes. It's every time.
Game time decisions.
Luka is actually far more dangerous from 3 on the road this year than at home.
This game here tonight, you may want to consider taking as many points as humanly possible.
In-game live, prime time.
We got not 1, but 2 coaches fired systems in place.
Sports Rage
this
late
sort of
night.
has letdown written all over it. It's going to be hard to match the emotion that they played with the other night.
It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
The marquee matchup during this midweek series around Major League Baseball. That's in Philadelphia between the top 2 teams in the National League with the 2 best prices to win a World Series championship. The LA Dodgers paying a visit to the city of brotherly love, but not a lot of love for LA the last 2 days. They go down in each of the first 2 games of this midweek set against Philadelphia. The Phils showing their might. 4-3 the victory yesterday. Tied into the ball game, Trey Turner, an RBI infield single to open it up for the Phils. They add on another. They hold on late. 4-3 the victory for the Fightins. Kyle Schwarber back in the lineup this week to face off against the Dodgers. Led off the game yesterday for Philadelphia with a leadoff Schwarbaum, as he often does. 4-3 the win for the Phils. They take the first 2 games in this set, and they are the first team in all of Major League Baseball to hit that 60-win mark this year.
Stoned in Philadelphia here, Ben. And Stone goes 4 2/3 innings pitched, 9 hits, and 4 earned runs. And by the way, we talked about this multiple times. The weather conditions in Philadelphia were perfect for scoring runs. The game did stay under the total. You had 2 decent pitchers on the mound. We told you how good Christopher Sanchez has been at Citizens Bank Park. Phenomenal. He goes 6 innings pitched and 2 earned runs. But if the crystal ball had come out yesterday, Ben, and you told me, said, Donnie, you know what? I'm going to let you in a little bit of secret here. There's going to be 19 hits last night in Philadelphia. You would think this game probably had 10 or more runs at a time, and you didn't hear. Now, you almost got the extras where you had the Dodgers, had a couple opportunities late in that game to try to tie it up, weren't able to do that. But a big win for the Philadelphia Phillies, a great pitching performance out of Sanchez, which is one of those guys you now sign long-term who you don't think is going to be in like your top 3 of your rotation. And what a wonderful guy to be number 4 or 5 in that rotation to pick up victories against a team like the Dodgers. Also, keep in mind for the Phillies yesterday, Ben, actually Turner was in the lineup, but it was no Bryce Harper in the lineup, which was interesting. And again, you think coming back from a hamstring injury, you're not going to play every single day. He sits. Maybe it was a boon to the Dodgers. That wasn't the case. The Phillies just continued to perform. And another 2 hits from Trey Turner, now hitting 345 on the season. The Phillies just continue to get it done.
5 RBIs for Turner against his former team in L.A. He's had 10 RBIs in total in the last 5 games for Philadelphia, batting .345, but because of the time that he missed earlier this year, not eligible yet, the innings requirement to be one of the statistical leaders around the major leagues. He would have the second best batting average, only behind Cleveland's Stephen Kwan. He is delivering for Philadelphia, 60-32, the best record in all of Major League Baseball, 55-38 on the other side for the Dodgers, who have now lost 7 of their last 11 games. And Gavin Stone, a revelation at the top of the starting rotation for the Dodgers this year. Prior to his last 2 starts, the Dodgers had won 6 in a row in a game that Stone had started. He has allowed 4 earned in his last 2 starts over the past week, and the Dodgers have dropped both of those contests. Yesterday, an underdog for the 2nd consecutive day in Philly and a 2nd consecutive loss. The Dodgers have played 93 games, only 7 times booked as the moneyline underdog, just 2-5 straight up as that moneyline dog. Donnie, we saw some movement after the 10-1 victory for the Phils in the opening game of this midweek set in terms of the odds to win a pennant or a World Series. No movement last night, but again, the gap pretty short between these 2 sides.
It is. And also, you're sort of factoring into what's going to happen the rest of the way. Now, the Atlanta Braves did lose yesterday. We'll talk about that in just a little bit. But the Phillies still extend that lead. But at the same time, the Dodgers aren't playing great baseball, but nobody in the NL West is trying to catch them at this point, Ben. You know, take a look at the Padres trying to make up some ground. They can't do it. So the Dodgers will be there at the end as a division winner, and we think the Philadelphia Phillies as well. Now, the matchup's going to come in that postseason, which you're trying to extract and say, how do they look right now as compared to what we're going to see in the month of, let's just say, August and September before we get to the playoffs? The one thing we do know is I talked about this with the Orioles and the Yankees multiple times. This might be a bad thing here for the National League or Major League Baseball, where let's just say the Phillies sweep the Dodgers and the Dodgers get angry and go, okay, if we would have swept the Phillies, we'll wait on some of these pitchers to get back. Now you get the upper management, and the fan base a little bit upset. They go out and make some major moves, which we know they will. That's why the Phillies, even though they'll probably have the better record when it's all said and done, once you get to the playoffs, that Dodgers team is going to be stacked. And that's what we're looking at those odds for, Ben.
The Dodgers sending the struggling young right-hander Bobby Miller back down to the minors, already making some moves with that pitching staff. The New York Yankees needed a win yesterday, and the Pinstripes delivered and got it in a low-scoring affair in Tampa. 2-1 the victory for the Yanks over the Rays. They had dropped 16 of their last 21 games entering Trent Grisham. Much maligned this year, both RBIs for the New York Yankees. A great bullpen game out of New York. Marcus Stroman, 4 1/3. The bullpen finishes the way, only allowing 3 hits from that time through the remainder of the game. The Yankees needed one. They were an underdog yesterday in the Trop, 17 times this year for New York as an underdog, but a very good winning record above 500, 11-6, when booked as the moneyline underdog for an MLB game this season.
Yeah, take a look at some of those statistics in the game. And yes, the Yankees will take every win they can get. But quite frankly, if you're just going like who should have won that game, how about 10 hits for the Rays and only 1 run? How about 0 for 10 with runners in scoring position for the Rays here? The Yankees escaped, and sometimes that's all that matters, Ben, is that final score. When you get into the numbers here, I thought Tampa was the better team to start this game because I just couldn't trust the Yankees. And again, the Yankees only scored 2 runs in this game, were able to win. But that's really because of the deficiencies here of the Tampa Bay Rays in that offense. But a good win and a much-needed win for the New York Yankees.
And you mentioned the race in the American League East. It shortens the gap just 2 games, despite Baltimore being a heavy favorite yesterday with Corbin Burns on the bump against the Cubs, who threw out Shota Imanaga. Imanaga outduels Burns, 6 innings of shutout work, 6 innings for Burns, allowing 3 earned. But the Orioles were blanked yesterday at home, 0 of 11. With runners in scoring position for the O's yesterday. They've lost each of the first 2 games of this midweek series against the Cubs.
I mean, it's an epidemic right now at the plate. How do you get 9 hits and don't score a single run? And certainly so many opportunities with runners in scoring position. But shout out Shota Imanaga. This is the guy we anticipated watching over the first 2 months of the season. That's an awesome performance in a tough spot and a great hitting ballpark with fantastic weather. You just shut down the Orioles. That's a great start, my friend.
Again, the O's only a 2-game advantage now atop the American League East. Still the odds-on favorite, though, at -130. Plenty more baseball breakdowns come your way up next.
When it comes to betting on sports, injuries matter, and Sports Injury Central has you covered all year long with expert injury analysis and injury-based picks for the NFL, NBA, and MLB. Our former pro sports doctors have unmatched experience to analyze every injury so you know the impact of the player, team, and their upcoming matchup. Whether it's articles, podcasts, player insights, or our patented injury scores, Sports Injury Central will help you keep up with your fantasy team and make more informed wagers. So make sure you follow Sports Injury Central and gain an edge at SixScore.com.
Your gut says Miami is going to win, and you should take the over. Your gut also said your NFT selfies would only go up in value. They didn't. But your head is on SportsGrid and knows the QB is in concussion protocol. The backup has a 45 QBR against the zone coverage. The New York D has the most sacks in the league. So yeah, trust your head. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
Anyone that's been to a sporting event, the atmosphere before a game, I think Game Time Decisions has that same exact atmosphere. This is our arena. This is what we do. There is going to be an energy to Game Time Decisions that you will feel night in and night out. The excitement you get when you lock your bets in, when you're figuring out what you want to do, we can zone in on the biggest games each night. I want this to be the place that people come to before the game starts so they feel as ready as possible to lock in their cards. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions to get that new information, react to it, and be able to then bet accordingly. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune into Game Time Decisions from 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern on Sports.
just a short interleague affair in a 2-game set in Southern California between the Padres and the Mariners during this midweek. Seattle entered losing 9 of their last 13. San Diego lost its weekend series against Arizona, but the Padres were playing much better baseball through the 4th of July holiday, winners of 12 of their last 15 prior, except the Padres now have lost both of the games against Seattle. 4 straight L's for San Diego as Seattle wins a tight one yesterday, 2-0 on the road in San Diego. Another great pitching performance out of the M's. They desperately needed to get some wins, and they do in Southern California.
Yeah, by the way, I thought King was the better pitcher on the mound yesterday, Ben, coming into the game. 6 innings pitched, 1 earned run, 9 Ks. You're supposed to win that one. The San Diego Padres offense was inept. And also take a look at Bryce Miller, the pitcher on the mound, 7-7 now in the season. He was really good. 6 innings pitched, no earned runs. And how about this? Like, we talk about some of the numbers that don't add up, like those home and away splits, right? T-Mobile is an unbelievable pitching ballpark, but so is San Diego at times. You take a look at the Mariners with this kid on the road. He had terrible splits where he just couldn't get the job done on the road. And if you would tell me right now, it's really hard in Major League Baseball to have a shutout and only 1 strikeout, which means the ball is constantly in play. You know, that batting average against is certainly going to go up if you're not striking guys out. But the fact that the San Diego Padres couldn't score a single run, I thought Profar, Cronenworth, and certainly Merrill were decent chances to get RBI. And even in the 9th inning, as they tried to mount a comeback, still didn't score a single run. That's a disappointing performance by the San Diego Padres. But as you pointed out, boy, is that a much needed win for the Mariners. In a game, I didn't think they had the better pitching matchup. And quite frankly, both pitchers were good. Seattle Mariners 2-0, man. They earned that victory. Goodness.
Yeah, it wasn't really Michael King's fault. He went deep into the game, only allowed a single earned run and did strike out 9. It's just the offense did nothing for the Padres. Only 3 runs the game prior against Seattle and Logan Gilbert as well. So Seattle wins both of the games against the Padres. San Diego on a 4-game skid. And it's good that Seattle keeps winning because they still only maintain a 2-game lead in the American League West, because the Astros, who are playing the Miami Marlins, one of the worst teams in the NL throughout this midweek set, they have won both of those first 2 games as well. The Stros now 4 games above 500, 48 and 44, their best winning percentage all season long. Now we go to a compelling series this week out in the Motor City between the Tigers and the Guardians. Detroit won the first game, 1-0. The Guardians won game 2, 9-8. in extra innings. The Tigers yesterday, 5-4. All 3 games so far decided by just a single run. Matt Vierling, huge for the Tigers, 3 RBIs yesterday. Detroit gets the better of Cleveland, 5-4 the victory.
Yeah, you had a couple good guys performing there early. Cole Keith had an RBI. You take a look at Ibanez, who was a pinch hitter, an RBI. Vierling had 3 RBI there. Riley Green, who's a decent player there, left-handed batter, he goes 2 for 4. Doesn't get an RBI, but is on base a couple times. And also talking about how good Olsen has been as a pitcher this year. He's 4-8 overall, but really some of his analytical numbers aren't really shaping up to what he actually has provided. 6 innings pitched, 6 hits, 3 earned runs. You'll take that each and every time. And you take a look at that ERA number. He's 4-8. He just picked up that win, 3.30. That's not a 4-8 record here. That should be an 8-4 record at the least here. Good win by the Tigers yesterday. Bad loss for the Guardians, but quite frankly, I didn't think they had the better pitcher on the mound yesterday, and a good performance out of Olsen.
The Guardians lose, but so do the O's, so Cleveland maintains that slightly better win percentage for the best record currently in the American League. You mentioned Reese Olson. What a compelling story he has been. 3.22 ERA entering yesterday, allows 3 earned, so now 3.30, but still not too shabby. The Tigers improved to just 5-13 in the 18 starts that he has made this year. A couple of Midwest doubleheaders yesterday. How about in Chicago? The White Sox take the opener of 2, 3-1 as a hefty underdog against the Twins. Michael Kopech, his 9th save of the year, the first immaculate inning for the White Sox organization. You ready for this? Since Sloppy Thurston back in 1923. The Twins do rally, though, in game number 2. They were down 2-0. They come all the way back to win 3-0. And our Royals, led by Vinny Pasquantino and Salvador Perez, win both games of the doubleheader in the Show Me State Showdown against the St. Louis Cardinals.
Yeah, good job by the Royals. And by the way, if you take a look at that loss, the 3-2 game between the Minnesota Twins and the Chicago White Sox, Soroka has 10 decisions now on the season, Ben. He's 0-10 in those decisions.
Yeah.
Unbelievable. I don't know how you could do that, Major League Baseball, but congrats, Mr. Soroka. Everything was looking up in Atlanta. Boy, oh boy, it's a different story in Chicago.
Yeah, very, very different story. Vinny P and Salvi an RBI in both games. Salvador Perez a homer in both. Team USA showcase last night in Vegas. Next.
It is Canada. You know, Canada is one of those teams that's the darling of the tournament right now. They're still 9-1.
To win a tournament or even to advance far into a tournament like this, you need a bit of good fortune. And it doesn't matter if you're getting the good fortune that Canada has, where they played 2 matches where they were up a man, or you had the good fortune of Argentina, who's one of the best teams in the world, who just got on the good side of the draw.
Newswire, only on SportsGrid.
I want to know, too, what was the highest you ever got on both of those metrics?
So the highest club head speed I've ever gotten with a 45-inch driver, we'll just say stock, was, I think it was 129.9. I never cracked 130. Never cracked 130. That was juice. That was on caffeine. I can't even talk. And then I got 195 ball speed.
195 ball speed.
Only on SportsGrid. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid. Your 24/7 sports wagering network. The early line.
Magical and historic season in Lincoln, Nebraska continues.
He is the best player in the NBA, but also in the biggest moments where the national media is watching.
Newswire.
Something that we have never seen happen before with one of the iconic coaches in the game.
Pharrell coast to coast.
The team covers. It's automatic. It's every time. Not sometimes. It's every time.
Game time decisions.
Luka is actually far more dangerous from 3 on the road this year than at home.
This game here tonight, you may want to consider taking as many points as humanly possible.
In-game live. Prime time.
We got not 1, but 2 coaches fired systems in place.
Sports Rage
This
late
sort of
night.
has letdown written all over it. It's going to be hard to match the emotion that they played with the other night.
It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
Paris preparation yesterday in Las Vegas. You can see the Eiffel Tower from the Strip. So, Team USA getting ready for the Olympic Games later this month. Today is July 11th. Opening ceremonies of the Olympiad just about 2 weeks away over in France. So, Team USA, a 5-game exhibition showcase to get ready for the Olympic Games. Yesterday, starting against our rivals from the Great White North in the Canadians, who enter the Olympic Games with the second best price to win a men's basketball gold medal, despite the Americans being close to a $5 odds-on favorite. Took the Americans a few moments to get the rust off and gel together yesterday. They were down by 7 at the end of the opening quarter against Canada, who is stacked and loaded as you would presume, just not quite to the level of Team USA. The final 3 quarters, especially the second half, really good for the United States. 86-72, the victory for Team USA over Team Canada. There were odds associated with this exhibition match yesterday. The U.S. on FanDuel, an 11.5-point favorite. Total was 200 and a hook. Both LeBron James and Stephen Curry talked about physicality needed in FIBA rules on the defensive end of the floor. We saw that yesterday. Stays well under that total of 200 and a hook.
All right, I got a couple bones to pick here before we actually go through this game itself. Number one, you know me, like I like to be on social media. This game was on late last night, so I didn't get to watch any of it. Woke up this morning, saw the highlights, and again, it's cool to see all the superstars out here. Now, number one, trying to find a box score for this game is like, maybe
Impossible.
going on a treasure hunt to try to find something from a lost 1800
Correct.
ship down in like the Bermuda Triangle. So when I do finally find it at USA Basketball, what do we look for? Yeah, what do we see the graphic up there? Real easy to read. Hey, look, 13 points, 12 points, 11 points, 10 points, 9 points, and 7 points. I go to the website here, and it's like, okay, do the math yourself, Donnie. Well, he went 4 of 6 from the field, which included 2 of 4 from 2-point range, 1 of 2 from 3-point range, 1 of 2 from the free throw line. Okay, how many points is that? They don't tell you how many points each one of these guys scored. It's the only stat we care about is points, and I got to add it up myself. That's number one. Number two, as I look at the box score here, Ben, who is Nigel Hayes-Davis, Micah Potter, and Langston Galloway getting minutes? Are they trainers as if they played for UConn last year, blowing teams out, and the trainers get in the basketball game? What did I miss here? Help me out.
So Micah Potter is a former Wisconsin Badger. Not sure where he plays in the NBA. Now, I did not see a box score either, so you can fill me in, or Joe Frizo, our producer, can. Did they come off the bench for Team USA? I know Micah Potter's from
2 minutes apiece.
Wisconsin, I believe. So they were on the USA Select team, I know, getting runs during practice. So maybe they got some run in an exhibition game to reward them for their service. So that's number two, I guess.
I got to tell you, we're not using our resources correctly. This is supposed to be like a dream team here, and we got guys we don't even ever heard of here. How's that a dream team at this point? You know what? What is it? Minus 470 to win. Minus 470 to win this. I don't know. That should be like minus 200 now. We can't be doing this.
All right. So those were the only 2 complaints. Was the start time an issue, or did that not make the list? Okay.
Start time was okay. Look. They're in Vegas, so party time. I can't have any arguments here because it'll be counterproductive over my normal arguments of why things should be in Vegas and Miami. So having said that, I did appreciate the way Team USA did play, because after the game they admitted they were rusty in the first quarter, didn't play good basketball. But they're saying like their calling card typically is, hey, let's go up and get 130 points. No, we're going to play lockdown defense, and there's a lot of great defenders on this team here for Team USA. So I did appreciate that. And a game against Canada, it wasn't as if Canada's like, hey, they're due to finish 10th overall in this tournament. No, Canada's the odds-on favorite to be number 2 in this tournament. So that's a good performance where you don't bring your A game, play good defense, still win by double digits. I'll take that.
Yeah, hey, I don't mind it either, right? From the actual game perspective itself. So here's from our production staff, Joe Frizo, doing great work to compile the box. What is happening to this mic right now? To compile the box score for you to make sure it just keeps dropping like this, Dion.
I can get jokes right now, but we're a family program. Yeah, we're a family program, so I can't make the appropriate jokes I want to make right now. So go.
Yeah. Goodness gracious. I need a headset here in studio. By the way, Nigel Hayes, also a former Wisconsin Badger, but now goes by Nigel Hayes Davis. So he and his former...
Wait a sec.
No.
Wait a second, Ben.
Oh, no. I shouldn't have said anything.
Wait a second. Who is the Nigel Hayes that we're running from at this point? We had to add Davis in there. See, now look, if you would have actually told me, because I do remember his name. Now that he changed it, he goes into obscurity. I have no idea who this guy is. So we have a guy yesterday in the NFL makes the appropriate move. I don't think we made the appropriate move here because not even Ben knew who that guy was. And Ben should be all over who that guy actually is. So there you go.
I didn't know they were going to play for the Americans last night. It's honoring his stepfather for Nigel Hayes. Nigel Hayes himself just sounds like that could be like a British explorer back in the day. I have no idea. If we can get back on track here in this segment to talk about the actual game itself, you have to be optimistic for the Americans. Again, we're a minus 470 favorite to win a gold medal in Paris. It's just an exhibition match. The intensity will ramp up if we were to play Canada, say, in a medal round competition and a game over in the Olympics. But you win by 14, and it took a while to get going against the team that has the second best price to win a gold medal and be that contender as well. Happy with what Team USA was able to pull off last night. 13 points to lead the way for the Ant-Man. He has called himself the number one option. He had the most points for the Americans last night. Steph Curry in double figures. Drew Holiday as well. Anthony Davis, a double-double. Devin Booker hit a couple of triples, and LeBron James, as he does, doing it all across the stat sheet. Of course, this follows earlier in the day, Kawhi Leonard opting not to play for Team USA. His representation and U.S. men's basketball deciding it would be better for Kawhi Leonard to take the summer off in preparation for next NBA season. We'll leave it at that. Derek White, his replacement for Team USA. And Donnie, if there is an issue, potentially a hole that you could poke in the American side, defensive intensity in the front court in getting rebounds, the guy known as the Claw would have really helped with that.
No, he really would have helped with that. And also, I'm always a great conspiracy theorist here trying to get to the bottom of things. Was it really Kawhi's knee that flared up? Was Kawhi not happy with the playing time that he was getting? Did Kawhi really not want to be there, but somebody forced him early on, say, hey, you really should go out and see what you can do with Team USA? It's an interesting one because it came sort of out of nowhere. So many times, Ben, we'll see like guys that are injured or showing up like, you know what? I'm going to try to gut this out. We'll see where it happens. Right now, I'm in a good spot. But this just came at, hey, we're going to play a game. And, oh, yeah, Kawhi Leonard is being sent home at this point with one of those ominous tweets from Team USA where it's just like, hey, we both agreed it's best he leaves. Like, wait a second. That doesn't sound like, oh, my knee really hurts or I tweaked my knee in practice. That sounds like, hey, Kawhi, do you want to be participating in this drill over here? Nah, I'm good, coach. That's what it feels like to me, a little bit of that case as well.
Yeah, it's interesting, right? Kawhi Leonard's availability at all times is a little bit in question. Derek White gets the nod. Yeah. Jaylen Brown felt like he was snubbed. There are three members from the Celtics championship winning team on Team USA, and none of them, Jason Tatum, Drew Holiday, Derek White, won the Eastern Conference Finals or NBA Finals MVP award. That was Jaylen Brown. We'll talk with our coach, JY, in hour number 2 about how Derek White fits, if he agrees that Jaylen Brown was snubbed and might have provided a benefit to the Americans in their hunt for a gold medal in Paris. Again, the exhibition matches are not going to move the odds, and Team USA still remains nearly a $5 odds-on minus money favorite, minus 470 to win the gold medal at the Paris Olympic Games. Canada still the second best price at 11-1. France and Serbia 16-1. The Americans will take on Nikola Jokic and the Serbians in this 5-game exhibition set. We will not play France until we get to France later for the Paris Olympics. Big day around the WNBA. A camp day recap next.
It is Canada. You know, Canada is one of those teams that's the darling of the tournament right now. They're still 9-1.
To win a tournament, or even to advance far into a tournament like this, you need a bit of good fortune. And it doesn't matter if you're getting the good fortune that Canada has, where they played 2 matches where they were up a man, or you had the good fortune of Argentina, who's one of the best teams in the world, who just got on the good side of the draw.
Newswire, only on SportsGrid.
I want to know, too, what was the highest you ever got on both of those metrics?
So the highest club speed I've ever gotten with a 45-inch driver, we'll just say stock, was, I think it was 129.9. I never cracked 130. Never cracked 130. That was juice. That was on caffeine. I can't even talk. And then I got 195 ball speed.
195 ball speed.
Only on SportsGrid. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid, your 24/7 sports wagering network. The early line.
Magical and historic season in Lincoln, Nebraska continues.
He is the best player in the NBA, but also in the biggest moments where the national media is watching.
Newswire.
Something that we have never seen happen before with one of the iconic coaches in the game.
Pharrell, coast to coast.
The team covers. It's automatic. It's every time. Not sometimes. It's every time.
Game time decisions.
Luka is actually far more dangerous from 3 on the road this year than at home.
This game here tonight you may want to consider taking as many points as humanly possible.
In-game live, prime time.
We got not one, but two coaches fired systems in place.
Sports Rage
This
Late
sort of
Night.
has letdown written all over it. It's going to be hard to match the emotion that they played with the other night.
It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
A 5-game slate yesterday in the WNBA on what is known as Camp Day during the summer months in the W. 5 games that all tip by latest noon local time at their specific destinations and venues. A way to bring the young kids in. A ton of camps go. It's a great celebration. It's wonderful exposure for the WNBA to really reinvigorate all of the momentum for this next generation. And it got started early here on the East Coast, over in Connecticut, 11 a.m. Eastern time, in a matchup between the top two teams in the WNBA. The New York Liberty paying a visit to the Connecticut Sun. Both teams entered yesterday with a 17-4 record, tied for the best marks in all of the W. After yesterday, the New York Liberty stand alone at the top, now 18-4 with a 71-68 victory over the Sun. The Liberty do cover as a 2.5-point favorite. Somebody on this show, not going to name names, said we were going to see some offense yesterday over 158.5. That somebody was me. Why I ever thought we would see points in 11 a.m. Eastern tip time remains to be seen. It stays well under 158 and a hook.
Yeah, good start to the game. You're up 10 here for the Liberty. Then you see the Sun close that out. It was a 1-point game at the break. And I also like the plus 2.5 points. And you see that final score, 71-68. So losing by the hook in that one. But that's a rarity there. Two teams there, 17 wins going toe-to-toe. And now you take a look at the Liberty, 18-4, in control of the number one overall seed in the WNBA. It's a good victory yesterday. Stewart, 18-14. Bonner at 22 in the loss. But that's everything we thought it was. Outside of the scoring, we thought it would be a close game. It was. And certainly a nice victory for the Liberty.
Sabrina Ionescu, 21 points as well to lead New York. 18-4, best record in the WNBA. The Sun not all that far behind, of course, at 17-5. The two-time reigning WNBA champs, the Las Vegas Aces, playing really good ball as of right now. Victorious now in 8 of their 9 games since the point guard Chelsea Gray returned to the lineup for Las Vegas. The Aces victorious yesterday on the road in the Pacific Northwest, 84-79 against the Seattle Storm. Las Vegas covers as a 3.5-point road favorite. Total of 172 and a hook. Does stay under. There is no doubt that A'ja Wilson is going to run away with her second WNBA MVP award in the last 3 seasons, but she just keeps adding on. 24 points, 20 rebounds yesterday to lead Las Vegas. Jackie Young poured in 27 as well. The Aces pick up a huge road win.
That's a crazy stat line, 24-20. It really is. And also when you take a look at the Aces, really slow in that first half. 13 points in the first quarter, only 17 points in the second quarter, but found that offensive mojo in the second half, scoring 30 points in the third quarter and 24 points in the final quarter to hold off the Storm. Storm are a good club, came in at 14-7, now dropped to 14-8. But I think we're just seeing the Aces now rounding into form and being the team that we thought they would be at the start of the season.
Yeah. And now let's get into the historic rookie performances on center stage and display yesterday in 2 spots. Caitlin Clark and the Indiana Fever. A game they will want to forget as a team, but a game that will live in the record books individually because of the production for Caitlin Clark. First, we start with the game. The Mystics on the road, winning outright as a 7-point underdog in Indy, 89-84. Well over a total of 168.5. The Fever did outscore the Sticks by 16 points in the fourth and final quarter, but unable to at the end in the final minute to completely mount that comeback. But Caitlin Clark, 29 points, 5 of 9 from 3, 13 assists, 5 rebounds, 5 steals, 3 blocks. The only player in WNBA history or in the NBA's history, since steals and blocks were first recorded back in the 1973-74 season, to put up a stat line that looks like that. Yes, a loss, and I know Clark herself would tell you that's the biggest thing to take away from yesterday's game in Indianapolis, but a historic performance we have never seen in professional basketball here in the States.
Yeah, and also, it's one of those where sometimes those early starts, you wonder if it's going to affect one team more than the other. The Mystics really clowned the Fever in the first quarter, second quarter, and third quarter because in your right mind, you say, hey, by the way, that fourth quarter ended 29-13 Fever. Like, wow, they probably won by 25-plus points, and they still lost the game by 5. But Caitlin Clark was certainly sensational in that game. It's just tough. Like, you would rather have that type of loss to like the Aces, like, hey, what are you going to do? It's a great basketball team. The Mystics are a bad basketball team. They should not be getting up 20-plus points over the first 3 quarters here with you needing a massive comeback just to try to get back into the game. But again, the focal point is always going to be on Caitlin Clark, and that stat line certainly was tremendous.
It is not a good game for Indiana. There is no doubt about it. But the Fever, who had the roughest schedule to start in their first 20 days of the year, playing 11 games, just 2-9, still 7-5 from that point, victorious in 6 of their last 10 games. The other historic rookie, that's Angel Reese. She adds on to her record double-double streak, now at 14 consecutive games. Chicago gets a victory at home, 78-69. They cover as a 6.5-point home favorite in the Windy City, under 155.5. They were well in control in the final few minutes of the game, and Angel Reese was stuck on 9 points. Up by 7, under 10 ticks left. In possession of the basketball, Chicago makes a concerted effort to get Angel Reese the ball down on the low block. She goes at the veteran Tina Charles, who fouls Reese with 6.1 seconds remaining. She hits both free throws at the charity stripe. She ends up with 11 points and 13 boards to keep the streak afloat. Many question whether it was stat padding. It might have looked as such.
It was 1,000% stat padding. Like, now we're in Russell Westbrook territory at this point, because if you watch that clip, it wasn't in the flow of the game, because we know how games end. You're up 7 points. The point guard sprints down the court and realizes, okay, you're going to foul me or not? Nobody fouled. She pulled the ball out, and out of nowhere, Angel Reese sprints down the court, sets up on the low block, and screams for the basketball. So from a betting perspective, that is key. We saw the graphic yesterday where it's like, how many games in a row is she going to get a double-double? Bet that absolutely, because it's apparent now they're just gunning for it. Like the Westbrook triple-double numbers, use that to your betting advantage. Outside of the game plan, they're trying to get her double-doubles. That's an important piece of knowledge.
Caitlin Clark remains the Rookie of the Year favorite at minus 850. Plenty news around sports from yesterday next.
It is Canada. You know, Canada is one of those teams that's the darling of the tournament right now. They're still 9-1.
To win a tournament, or even to advance far into a tournament like this, you need a bit of good fortune. And it doesn't matter if you're getting the good fortune that Canada has, where they played 2 matches where they were up a man, or you had the good fortune of Argentina, who's one of the best teams in the world, who just got on the good side of the draw.
Newswire, only on SportsGrid.
I want to know, too, what was the highest you ever got on both of those metrics?
So the highest sub speed I've ever gotten with a 45-inch driver, we'll just say stock, was, I think it was 129.9. I never cracked 130. Never cracked 130. That was juice. That was on caffeine. I can't even talk. And then I got 195 ball speed.
195 ball speed.
Only on SportsGrid. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid, your 24/7 sports wagering network. The early line.
Magical and historic season in Lincoln, Nebraska continues.
He is the best player in the NBA, but also in the biggest moments where the national media is watching.
Newswire.
Something that we have never seen happen before with one of the iconic coaches in the game.
Pharrell, coast to coast.
The team covers. It's automatic. It's every time. Not sometimes. It's every time.
Game time decisions.
Luka is actually far more dangerous from three on the road this year than at home.
This game here tonight, you may want to consider taking as many points as humanly possible.
In-game live. Prime time.
We got not one, but two coaches fired systems in place.
Sports Rage
This
Late
sort of
Night.
has letdown written all over it. It's going to be hard to match the emotion that they played with the other night.
It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
Plenty of news around the entirety of the sports landscape from a Wednesday that we recap here on this Thursday morning on the early line on SportsGrid. If this was last summer or maybe next summer, right now would be very, very quiet outside of Major League Baseball and the daily grind and what we are seeing in the WNBA. But this summer, international soccer competitions, the preparations for the Olympic Games, and of course, Wimbledon right now at the All England Club as well. So we start first with soccer semifinal Wednesday. We go to the nightcap over in Charlotte, the Queen City, a buzz last night for the semifinal between Uruguay and Colombia at Copa America, both playing for a spot against Lionel Messi and Argentina in the final on Sunday evening in Miami. Colombia scored first, 38th minute, off a corner. James Rodriguez, his sixth assist of the tournament. Jefferson Lerma converts with a header into the back of the net. Then Colombia suffered a red card, played a man down for the entirety of the match from that point on, and held on to win in a tightly contested, albeit slightly ugly game. 1-0. That's the result on the pitch. Colombia was an underdog, plus 100 even money price to get to the final. Uruguay was the favorite at minus 122. Uruguay had some chances, never able to convert. Then the scene after the game that I'm sure everybody has seen. We showed you here to start off this opening hour. Uruguayan national players going into the stands, exchanging blows, shoves, and words with Colombian fans, including their lead striker, Darwin Nunez, there as well. Uruguay claimed that their family members were being harmed by the Colombian fans, thus what resembles malice at the palace yesterday in Charlotte.
Yeah, and I know it not really being a soccer aficionado per se, but I do see the highlights of some of the mayhem that happens over in Europe. But also, aren't they smart enough to say, we have a passionate fan base that's going to be here? And oh yeah, another passionate fan base that's going to be here. Sometimes they're separated by chain link fences overseas to make sure melees like this don't happen. Now, typically, you're worried about fan-on-fan interactions here. You're not worried about the national team going into the stands to fight other teams' fans at this point, trying to fight the fans' families here. This is a tough look. And by the way, they got away, I guess, lucky at this point, because if we were looking at that, saying, wow, that's crazy, it's going on, where are the actual security guards? It's amazing that it actually didn't develop into something much, much worse than we actually saw, because it really could have been here. So it was a tough loss on the field for Uruguay, and then they have to go into the stands and try to fight it out after the game. We'll see what comes back. But on the pitch itself, Colombia winning 1-0, that is amazing, because I bet right now, and again, I'm glad I'm not all that into soccer wagering, because maybe when you see that red card out, you just go hammer Uruguay at this point and say they're going to win this game because they'll at least score to tie it up and be able to get to extras, because down a man and you're supposed to be the better team anyway. Of course they're going to be able to win this game. They weren't able to do that. That is a massive victory for Colombia.
I don't know where the security personnel at Bank of America Stadium was last night in Charlotte. That stuff should never happen, and it puts a cloud over what was a great Copa America semifinal match that Colombia was so resilient, holding on. Uruguay up a man throughout the entirety of the second half. But what I will say about atmosphere, Sunday night in Miami between Leo Messi, Argentina, and Colombia for a Copa America title, oh boy, that is going to be absolutely incredible. Argentina, a minus 166 favorite to hoist the cup. Now we go to the European Championships. Euro semifinal action on a Wednesday between England and the Netherlands. The Dutch scored first in the 7th minute. Xavi Simons netting the goal for the Netherlands. Harry Kane responded after a controversial penalty was awarded. He takes advantage. And then in the 91st minute, Ollie Watkins delivers the game winner for the English. Is it coming home? Tell me, Donnie Rightside.
Yeah, it probably is coming home. It'll be fun to watch it here, but also another one of those where you have a really good soccer club getting the lead on another team and giving up that lead. So for England to give up that first goal, then come back and win in regulation, that's a pretty impressive performance. And yes, energy is going to be running high this weekend for the English, because they do believe it's coming home at this point. And sometimes you watch it and say, do you root on England, or you just root on the fact that if they lose, you like to sit back and be like, oh, man, that place is going to be absolutely nuts either way at this point. It's going to be high emotions for sure over there in the Euros.
Spain looking for its record 4th Euro title. England trying to win its first major international tournament since 1966. We'll tell you more about Wimbledon later on. Hour 2 starts next.